Knifedope. More dope. Come and get your figs. What's up, fuckers? Your boy's back with a fresh batch of dope. Knifedope. That's right, people. The hits don't stop. Got a couple of batches of dope that touched down yesterday. This one actually touched down a couple of days ago. Today being Friday, August, what is today? August 4th, as a matter of fact. 2023, the year of our Lord and Savior. And I'm about to do a little vacation, man. So I figured I would dive into this shit before I hit the streets and share my dope. All right, let's see. This one came in from Casey from Knives Fast. He's part of one of the pass-around groups that I'm involved in. And this one came from Quiet Carry. So this is actually a personal one. This is something that I'm adding to the collection. And this is a couple of pass-around knives. So let's get into my shit first. Gotta do you first. Never forget that. All right, today's unboxing knife. This American legend. I've carried this quite a bit since getting it, and I'm in love with it. This is the Kershaw Live Wire, baby. Live and direct. You know, I was kind of late to the Quiet Carry whole scene, but I'm quickly falling in love with them. I think the first knife I had ever bought from Quiet Carry, let me pull that out, was this beauty right here. And that is the Drift LC rendition. And I love this goddamn thing. Fully impervious to the elements. Fantastic, fantastic work knife. You know, great detect, quality materials. What else is there to say? But before this one came along, there was this one. This one is the OG version of the Drift. It's been around for a while. As a matter of fact, when I first tried this, I had tried this a couple of months back. I wasn't too keen on it at the time. You know, granted, it was a different version of the knife. It had the G10 show side. And I don't necessarily know if that was the issue. I do remember that, you know, it was very slim and thin. And at that point in time, I really wasn't that heavy into the washer knives. I've grown to start appreciating them more and loving them more. So I figured I'd take a chance on this one. Let's check it out. Okay. D10's nice and solid right out the box. This was the only version they had left. And I was actually surprised because I think I checked a couple of weeks ago. There was none of them in stock. But this is in Van X Super Clean Steel. That was probably the main reason why I pulled the trigger on this. I've got absolutely zero knives with Van X. So I figured I'd take a chance on it. But very lightweight, perfect EDC, super slicey, you know. And then as far as, like I mentioned, this one is also impervious to the elements. We've got titanium scales, marine grade stainless steel hardware, pocket clip as well. It's just, it's a no-brainer at this point. I'm contemplating sending this in to get the thumb studs removed and get a hole put in, but I haven't decided yet. But one thing I was really digging that I was, another reason why I decided to pull the trigger on this one is this forward finger choil, which does allow me to get that full purchase, no refund. Full purchase, no refund. That's right. Let's put it up against the LC200N version. And you can see that the LC version does not have that finger choil. Of course, it's bigger. Not to mention, it's also riding on bearings. So I'm in love with this one. Hopefully this original version, I can get some enjoyment out of this one. But yeah, there you have it. Just wanted to show you guys what I got. That'll be going in the pocket for this trip. All right, let's get to the dope. Like I mentioned, this came from Casey from Knives Fast. Shout out to him. If you aren't following his channel, please start. He's actually the owner, the head guy in charge for Tempest Knives. There's a new knife of his that I'm set to be receiving for a review here soon. So I'm looking forward to that. I've heard a lot of good things about that one. I think they call it the Jetstream. Yeah, I actually tried, originally I had bought his Pinion, but then I did not buy that last one. I think it was the Microburst, but that one's a good knife. I tried that one out at Blade Show, and I was impressed. Okay, we got two knives, baby. We have the one from Orion Knives and one from SRM. I believe, we'll check out this one first. Fuck it. I had seen this one a couple of weeks ago as well, and there was kind of like some mixed reviews on it. I had heard people talk about the good and the bad, which is basically what you have to deal with pretty much every knife, you know. Very rarely will you find the perfect all-around knife. There's always usually something that could be, you know, addressed. But let's check this one out. So we can see here out the gate, nice, I'm not a big fan of the wood. You know, on any knife, not necessarily this one, but just in general, I don't like wood handles. So we can see we've got this long, I think that's probably brass or aluminum. Might be like an anodized aluminum. Says Orion Knives on it. We've got the, looks like a droopy flipper. And then we also have this cutout. I'm a cutout guy, so let's try that first. Ooh, man, wait a minute. Yeah, that's really hard to get to. Let me try this one. Okay, the thumb flick was money. Let me go ahead and try that that flipper tab. Flipper tab, I think could possibly be, you know, I would have redone that flipper, but I just feel like there's just almost not enough to get it. But it does fly out, you know. It is dialed in, I'll give it that. Let's take a look at this thing up close. We've got this nice modified sheep's foot style blade. This one has a black wash finish on it. Deep, deep hollow grind. Love this actual curvature here on the handle. When in hand, you just feel like you've got a nice purchase on it. You feel like you're in control of it. You know, I can imagine this being good for your draw cuts, your utility cuts. I am digging that fuller. Let's talk about the price and go over some of the specs. This particular version comes in right now at $65. The designer is Dave Gear. He's the gentleman known as Blade Banter. As a matter of fact, he's the guy in charge of the Apex pass-around group, which is one of my pass-around groups that I'm involved in. Great guy. Orion Knives, that's his company as far as I know it. And I believe this is their third model. Overall length on this one came in at 8.24 inches. We've got a handle length coming in at 3.95 inches. This blade is 3.65, and our blade stock came in at 126 thousandths. 14C 28N blade steel, which I'm a big fan of. I think he did a great job in selecting that steel. I think, as a matter of fact, I think all of his models thus far have been 14C 28N. I'm pretty sure. I think as a matter of fact, I had tried his Orion. I bought that knife last year sometime. Was it the Orion? No, the Solaris, I'm sorry. The Solaris is the one that I bought. Pocket clip on this one is right hand tip up carry only. And this one is riding on cage bearings. I do wish this cut, I can, if I really try, I can get the cutout. But it's probably easier just to go down further and hit that fuller. I either wish they opened up the hole more, or just take the hole out and just give us a fuller, you know, all the way down. Blade to handle ratio seems to be pretty good here. You know, I would have preferred this to not, you know, jut out like that, but I think they did that to keep the tip concealed. Aesthetically, it looks good, man. It really does. Now, this is a frame lock that they, I thought perhaps this would be called a subframe lock, but I don't think that's correct. But you can see it's almost like an inset liner lock where you've got your scales, you know, concealing the lock. This is a frame lock, and the good thing about having this wood overlay over it is that you don't have to worry about locking yourself out. You know, a lot of these frame locks, when you try to deploy the knife, if you're holding the knife up too high, you can easily lock yourself out. That will not be an issue with this one. Overall weight on this came in at 4 ounces. Now the show side scale is aluminum underneath this wood overlay. You have an aluminum 60/60 aluminum show side, and then your lock side is actually 420 stainless steel. Some of the things that I'm not a big fan of is the T6 on the body screws. They do have a T8 on the pivot. Like I mentioned, I do not like these wood scales. These have been known to crack. Like if you over tighten it, you can crack the scale. So that's kind of a negative. And then as far as your cutout, I think that the cutout is really not as functional as it could be. But it does have a snappy little goddamn detent. I will give him that. And of course, this flipper tab. I do not like the flipper tab. But I think he probably primarily did that to kind of conceal it when it is deployed. But let's put up a couple of knives real quick for some size comparison, and we'll get to this next one. First up, the most goddamn expensive mini roach known to man. And that is the Kaiser mini roach, rocking the carbonized carbon fiber twill scales, so we can see that the Cetus is definitely bigger than that. Next up, you know about this one, the unofficial overseas knives of the channel, which is that CJRB Echo. This one is the Knife Center exclusive, so the Cetus is bigger than both the Echo and the mini roach. Let's do two more. God damn it, two more. Coming in hot with another Kaiser. This one is going to be the Clutch Lock Sheepdog. I'm loving that knife, people. I really, really am. That's another party that I was late to, that Sheepdog party. Next up, or rather last up for this one, this fantastic work knife, which is the Vosti Nightshade TH rendition. As a matter of fact, Vosti just announced that they are coming out with a premium version to this knife. I don't think they released the details as far as like the blade steel. I think, actually, I lie. I think that maybe they did say all that. I just don't. But I do know it's going to be a titanium bolster lock. That I do remember. Well, let's get to the next knife, shall we? This next knife is coming from a company that is that I knew as Sanrenmu, but I guess maybe now perhaps they're going by these initials of SRM. I don't have much experience with them, so perhaps they have used the SRM abbreviation, in the past. But this was my first time. Recently, been the first time that I saw them using that. But this one is one of these knives that they insist on calling numbers. This one is the 9203. That is something that I can't fucking stand, to be honest with you. I mean, goddamn, give it a name. Get a little bit more creative than just a fucking number. But I don't want to come out, with all this. Wait a minute. A little love note here. Okay. A little love note says, cuck free zone. I can dig it. I can dig it. All right. We can see out the gate, we've got some nice micarta scales here. This is the a green micarta. Decent quality, man. This one came in at a price point of $69.95, basically $70. And this one is a crossbar lock. I think they call theirs the ambi lock. So we can see here we got a nice clip point blade with a full flat grind on it. Nice high up sweep on that blade. Beautiful black wash finish. Now the steel on this knife, I've never experienced. This is the 10CR15 COMOV. I did a little bit of research, and basically it's comparable to VG10. It's like the equivalent of VG10. I've got a couple of VG10 knives in the collection, and they do just fine for me. As far as the action on it, these knives are not known for their detent, but if I flick it out there, it does fly out. So I will give them that. Very easy to manipulate, but on the drop, you have to kind of like give it a little bit of wrist to make it come to the house. Ergonomically speaking, they've got this little, it seems like almost like a finger guard there, so you can, for the most part, get choked up. But I would have loved a finger choil. I'm always gonna opt to have a finger choil on all my knives. That's just the way I like to carry them. But let's see here. Oh yeah, one of the features on this knife that I thought was pretty cool is this pocket clip. It's reversible, right or left hand tip up carry, and there's no tools required. All you simply do is squeeze it, and it comes right out. And then boom, you can go over there. You can see we have the two entry points to put the pocket clip. So let's put it back to right hand carry. Here we go. This one is riding on bearings as well, so very nice and smooth. I believe it's riding on bearings. It might be on washers, goddamn it, I don't know. I think it is on bearings. I think I remember saying it was on bearings. Let's put up a couple of knives for some size comparison, a little bit of knife flexing. Here's this one, which if I had to choose between these two knives, I would have definitely chosen this one. This one is the Vosteed Corsair, or Corsair. First off, better steel in my opinion, which is the Nitro V. And then we've got contoured micarta scales versus these flat scales. And then we also have this is utilizing an access lock that's very similar to Kaiser. It's an adjustable one. So I think hands down, that would have been a better choice. But if you can see it up there, the 9203 in size comparison to the Corsair. So the 9203 is coming in bigger than that. This next one took the world by storm. And that was the CJRB Pyrite OG version. I believe this one is the best version of the Pyrite for sure. So the 9203 is bigger than both of these. Let's do two more. God damn it, two more. Trying to keep this same budget realm going. Possibly budget knife of the year thus far. And that is the Miguron Mayoral. So the Mayoral is definitely a little bit smaller than the 9203. Last but certainly not least, another legendary knife in the budget realm, and that is going to be the Petrified Fish Mini Beluga, baby. I tell you, Petrified Fish has started to do some OEM work for some other companies. Namely, they did the most recent version of the Spiro for Asher Knives, and they fucking crushed it, people. I'm telling you, keep your eye on Petrified Fish. I think they're going to be doing big things here in the end of 23 and going into 2024. Very similar to how Kubi, came in strong at the end of last year, coming into this year. I think Petrified Fish is the next company to keep an eye on. Well, there you fuckers have it. We've got some budget dope, and then we've got a great, great premium knife that I just added to the collection, which is going to be the Drift. I'm happy with it, if I could find the goddamn thing, I really am. Plan on using it this weekend, plan on carrying it in the pocket. Check me out on Instagram if you get a chance. Let me know what you fuckers think. Love you, mean it. Until the next time, cut something, cut someone, just don't cut yourself. Stay dangerous, fuckers!